What's up, guys? Two Wheel Turbine. It's been 6 months since we picked up the Tesla Cybertruck Foundation series, and we finally broke 10,000 miles, so I felt it was a good time to kind of look back on the past experience of driving and owning the Cybertruck, talk about its quirks and features, and let you know if this truck is really worth the money. What is the ownership experience like? So if you're in the market for one, you'll have a better idea of what you may be getting yourself into. I created quite a bit of different categories that we're going to go into about the Cybertruck and what the ownership experience is like. We're going to start off right now with talking about the performance and overall driving experience with the Cybertruck. And that's one thing that's just going to be completely different than, say, an F-150, a Ram 1500, your typical gas trucks. It's going to be a night and day difference. If that's where you're coming from and you really want to go to an electric truck, performance and driving aspect, it's just completely night and day. Now, there's definitely a caveat to what I'm saying, because from an off-road perspective, we have not done any type of severe off-road or intense off-road. I think trucks like the Raptor, the TRX, Wranglers, I would rather off-road with those trucks. I wouldn't want to try to take the Cybertruck off-roading as much because that's such a long wheelbase. It's just, there's a lot more going on. It's just crazy heavy. I'd rather have those trucks for off-road. But for a daily driver and street use that 99% of people are going to use, this truck is so much better. It behaves significantly more like a car. And what I mean like that is it accelerates like a sports car when it handles, when you're going through corners. You don't have that typical body roll and kind of loose steering feeling as you do with the truck. Everything's pretty tight and it's just nice inputs. It's just like a sports car. You point it to where you want to go and the truck follows. It's not fighting you like some of these bigger gas trucks. And while that daily street driving is great, what's even better is once you get to parking lots, you have to do tight maneuvering. Having the rear wheel steer is just, it's absolutely amazing. Until you've experienced it, you don't really know what you're missing out on. But when you make that U-turn, the truck just whips around faster than really any vehicle I've been in. Maneuvering in tight parking lots, even though it's a big truck, it's almost like somehow it feels better than my Fiat. I have a Fiat 500 and I'd rather maneuver this truck all day than that little Fiat. It just turns exactly where you want to go, whips into spots, and it's just really nice because you have the ability, to haul things, pull a trailer, all of that, but it just absolutely maneuvers unlike anything else. I know a lot of people want to know how the Cybertruck does off-roading, and honestly, with over 10,000 miles, we haven't taken it on any serious off-roading. I have a Tacoma. My dad has his lifted F-150. If we were going to do off-roading, it just wouldn't make sense to kind of compromise and risk putting this truck in a position where it doesn't need to be. I'd feel way more comfortable with my Tacoma or like, say, a Jeep Wrangler. I don't think the Cybertruck should be seen as some sort of off-roading beast. I know it can do some pretty impressive things, but I don't think that's what the average person is really buying this truck for. So I've had a lot of people ask, how does it compare to other trucks? I kind of touched on that earlier. Really, pretty much the only similarities is just the truck and the name. I think there's just so many differences, far more differences than similarities. You have a bed, but I mean, from there, it's just a completely different vehicle that you really need to experience to kind of completely understand. Doesn't behave like any other truck, and it's not for a bad thing. A really good question I got is, how has the battery life, has the battery degraded at all? Have we seen any changes in regards to that? And ultimately, even after just 10,000 miles, yes, you actually do notice a bit of degradation. Originally, when we first got the Cybertruck, at 80% on the screen, it would show that there was a projected 254 miles of range. Now, when we get to that same 80% charged up, it actually only shows 246. So we see an 8-mile degradation at that charge state. I'm not sure, as we get more and more tens and tens of thousands of miles, are we going to see an accelerated degradation of the battery state? That's going to be exciting to see. Probably the next checkpoint I'll make a video is probably 50,000 miles. I don't really see any other milestone in between 10 and 50 that would make sense. I think 50 will reveal a ton more, experience with the Cybertruck. But yes, there is battery degradation, which is unfortunate, but pretty much all batteries, they degrade over time and use. So it's to be expected. It's nothing crazy, like I said. It showed 254 miles at 80% originally, and now it's showing 246. So it's not like it lost 50 miles. That would be quite terrible after 10,000 miles. Now, some people are wondering, how much does it cost to actually operate the Cybertruck? Well, you're gonna be really happy if you're coming from, say, a big diesel or, typical gas truck. You're gonna save a lot of money. So for a charge rate of 16 cents per kilowatt, to get to an 80% charge in this truck, it's gonna cost you $15.74. And compare that to like an F-150, it's nearly triple that to go the same range that this will take you with an 80% charge. So you're saving, you're paying only a third in gas, expenditure, energy expenditure with their Cybertruck compared to trucks similar to it. I know with over 10,000 miles under the Cybertruck's belt now, some people are going to be asking, have you done any substantial long road trip? And honestly, we haven't. I wish we have. I still have a little bit of anxiety about the current infrastructure. With EVs, it just, you don't want to just hop in and be like, let's just go cross country. I think there's still some planning and some, thought that you kind of have to go into your road trip with, whereas compared to just hopping in, say my Tacoma, you can just hop in and you're going to be good. You're going to find gas stations along the way. And while the infrastructure has improved, probably exponentially since the beginning, it's still, I think, at a stage where we need some more support to really have that comfort level to be like, let's hop in our EV and let's go from Texas to New York or something like that. You can definitely do it. People have done it many, many times cross country in Teslas, but I just don't think that infrastructure is quite there yet. It's going to be super fun when it is there though, just to hop in and not have that stress of range anxiety and being able to get to spots that are going to charge your truck effectively and quickly. Now, what has it been like charging it at home? So you just go on the screen, click your little charge icon, tells you it's opening the door. You go back here and your door opens just like that. So charging at home with our level 2 charger, it's not great. You get about 18 miles of range per hour of charging. So if, let's just say you leave it out for overnight for 12 hours, you're going to get approximately 216 miles. It's probably going to be less in the real world. That's what's kind of unfortunate with all EVs, is their projected range always seems to be quite optimistic, unfortunately. Another important thing to try to point out with the Cybertruck and with over 10,000 miles is, have we had any issues with the trim, anything, panels flying off, trim flying off, anything like that? Well, luckily it had the recall for the panel. That's, for some owners, it was coming off while driving, so that's been good. The fit and finish still isn't perfect. If you look at, try to get this camera here, try to find one that's but just sometimes where the panels line up isn't quite great. Let's see. Okay, here's a good point, I think. So you can see that's not quite lined up. This is higher than here. And then also the gap here is a little bit, it's not quite even. I know they're working with stainless steel, which, isn't common for cars. So I'm assuming it's quite difficult to get everything to line up perfectly. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, especially, this is the first generation of Cybertrucks. I'm sure it's going to get a whole lot better. Let's just go to here to show you guys another point. See how there's like kind of this gap there? I mean, it's not terrible. This line's pretty solid, not too bad. Let's look at this one. Let's go down here. That stays relatively even, so that's not too bad. It kind of tapers here at the bottom. You see that? It goes wide and then it tapers. So that fitment isn't quite perfect there. But, nothing crazy where, things are flying off the truck. That would be quite terrible. Luckily, we haven't had that. Who knows, maybe with the 50,000 mile video I do in the future, we're gonna have a story of the frunk flying open or something. Who knows? As you can see today, we got quite a bit of rain last night, and the roads have been wet yesterday, today, and that's one thing where you're gonna absolutely love the Cybertruck. I have not driven a vehicle, and this goes for all Teslas, I have not driven a vehicle that gives me the confidence that Teslas do, and it's still true with the Cybertruck. It doesn't change. The all-wheel drive and just the traction control on these trucks is absolutely incredible. You can like accelerate pretty hard while it's just downpour of rain, and you're not gonna slip. When I drive my Tacoma in pouring rain, I'm way more scared than driving this Cybertruck. This thing's awesome. It has not snowed here yet. When it does, I'm gonna make a video driving this in the snow with its, you know, stock factory tires. But for weather, I think it's one of the best trucks, vehicles to go out into some pretty terrible weather and still be all good. One thing people may be wondering also is not just from the driver's perspective, but what is this truck like for the passengers? It's quite awesome. Whenever we get any passengers in the back of this truck, they absolutely love it. And who knows if it's really that great. It's pretty minimalistic interior design, but I think anytime someone hops in this car, their objective opinion is almost ruined because they're just so excited to be in it. They kind of overlook any potential flaws, but had a lot of different passengers in here, and so far everyone's liked it, especially the screen with Netflix, YouTube, etc. Working, the air conditioning is quite fantastic. Let's see if I can pull it up. Let's just see, tap to power fan, you know, being able to drag where you want air, all that great stuff. Pretty awesome. And then, you know, being able to hop on different streaming stuff, pretty cool. Well, the Cybertruck is a truck after all, so a lot of people have been asking, have you actually hauled with it? How is it done with the trailer? You got your hitch receiver just right behind there. It's kind of hidden. Unfortunately, we haven't pulled a trailer yet with that. I need to do that. I have a little 5x10 utility trailer that I pull, you know, golf carts, dirt bikes, four-wheelers with. So I need to do a video just focused on that so I can explain the process of towing with this truck and how rear wheel steer interacts with towing a trailer. Because, you know, pretty much I can't think of really any trucks on the road that have that type of steering. So it's gonna be quite interesting while pulling a trailer, backing up, etc. Now for the $108,000 out the door price on this foundation dual motor, it sounds kind of crazy. You can get a lot of cool cars for that six-figure range. But I think the Cybertruck still doesn't have any competitors like the Hummer EV, the Silverado EV, the Ford Lightning, the Rivian. I still don't think there's anything quite in this class. Nothing has just the awe, you know, jaw-dropping appeal that the Cybertruck does. And by appeal, I know some people may want to throw up, but a lot of people still love this truck, and it's just so unique. Wherever you go, it's a jaw dropper. And people, you know, really appreciate it or hate it. Either way, it brings out some raw emotion, and those other trucks just don't do that. As there has been a few recalls, the wiper motor, the panel, I think there's a software update. What has it been like dealing with Tesla and their repair center? Honestly, it's so much better than the traditional dealership experience. That's always a nightmare. I hate taking my Tacoma to the Toyota dealer. Absolute nightmare. Tesla makes it really easy, all done on the phone, very flexible. You know, you don't have any of these shady, you know, service advisors, people in that industry. They're just there to do their job, and they're effective with it and aren't trying to just upsell you. They're trying to get the job done, and that's why Tesla is pretty great about that. Now, with the actual community of Cybertruck owners, you know, we know the Jeep Wrangler community is quite tight. They got their own wave. They give themselves ducks. I haven't seen anything quite like that with Cybertrucks, but when driving on the road, you drive next to another one. The other person usually is pretty enthusiastic and is excited to just see one driving right next to them. So yeah, definitely a lot of appreciation. I think the community is pretty tight. I don't know if there's quite a lot of meets, like Jeep meets and stuff, but I'm sure there is. If you look on Facebook and things, you could find a group near you of Cybertruck owners to meet up and talk about your experience with your Cybertruck. Now, what's my experience with, oh look, this popped up. Huh. Did not even know that this popped up. Interesting. Oh, that's good. I popped that back down. But so a lot of people are wondering what trim level should they get. You can see they're releasing, I think there's like 3 different trim levels. There's the Beast, the dual motor, and then I believe there's going to be the single motor. So which one should you get? I would probably say the dual motor is your best bet. I think the single motor might be a bit weak. And then, you know, if you have the extra cash, go for the Cyber Beast, get that crazy performance. But you do lose a bit of range, I believe, with the Beast. So I'd say dual motor is great. And if you really want full self-driving, try to find yourself a foundation, because it's going to come with that. And who knows, maybe later down the road, who knows how long later, but maybe the foundation insignia is going to lead to some better value retention. Who knows? Probably not. But there's a potential there with the Foundation series. But yeah, dual motor I think's your your best overall for the money, where you're going to get a lot of performance, still get the range you need, and it's going to complete any task you throw at it. Now this 10,000 mile reflection's been overall pretty positive, but it's not all positive. There's some things that I've kind of grown to not really like. For example, Tesla releasing this car, and all the new Cybertrucks are coming with the wheel covers, but the people who are actually some of the earliest adopters still do not have their wheel covers. They just have rust exposed in the middle. I think that's pretty ridiculous. You're shipping out new trucks with the wheel covers, but the people that actually paid the money up front earlier and were those very early adopters are still left they're screwed, honestly. Kind of ridiculous. Just waiting for Tesla to get those wheel covers, paying 6 figures for a truck, and they don't have that sorted out. Very ridiculous. Another thing is, when driving it, this A-pillar is extremely big, so you have to be really careful. You can get yourself in a wreck. If the car happens to be in this blind spot, it's so big. It's the biggest A-pillar I've ever seen in a car. You could definitely crash into someone. Unfortunately, I think that's just part of the design, but that A-pillar is ridiculous. It's very thick, hides your visibility. Another thing is all this plastic that goes around here. To me, I don't know. To me, it just seems kind of cheap. If you look at it, this truck's only 6 months old, 10,000 miles. It's kind of already showing signs of fading. I think they used a relatively cheap plastic all around that cladding. I think they could have used something a little bit better. It doesn't seem extremely high quality. I'm sure it's better than what you get in economy cars, but for a 6-figure truck, I think they maybe could have done something else there. Another thing to point out is I think they should have given people the option for a normal steering wheel. I don't mind the yoke, but I know a lot of people that are, going to be pulling trailers and stuff. When you're maneuvering trailers, it's really important to have a normal steering wheel. You're just going to feel way more natural doing those typical truck movements and things like that. Compared to a yoke, it's going to take some more getting used to, and it may actually be annoying at first if you're doing a lot of hauling and things like that. But yeah, guys, honestly, other than those gripes, I can't really think of many other significant ones. The truck's been pretty great, and I hope if you're in the market or you're just curious what the Cybertruck ownership is like, this video helped give you some insight. Quite a cool truck. I still think one of the coolest vehicles out on the road today, and I'm excited to see maybe version 2 in a few years. I'm sure Elon and Tesla are going to do some pretty cool things to revise it and make it an even better truck. I hope this video was helpful. Leave a comment down below if you're a Cybertruck owner, sharing some of your insight. I want to hear what your experience is like. And let me know if you guys think the Cybertruck is worth the money. You're not going to hurt my feelings or anyone's. Just let me know your actual opinion, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.